Alex at Corumdale Farm. We are a year 2 Oklahoma flower farm selling market bouquets from our roadside stand, and it is Saturday morning. I'm about ready to make as many mixed sunflower bouquets as I can for our roadside stand, and we wanted to bring you along on our process of how we harvest and get ready for a stand day, set up the stand, make the bouquets, and then how our sales go. See how it goes here in September at our flower farm as we're kind of winding down the season. We probably only have a couple weeks left of flowers, and we're hoping to end big, end with a bang. We made a video probably early August talking about how we changed up our sunflower growing methods. I filmed an update a couple days ago for this video, but kind of out of order. I filmed it, so we're gonna cut to that update so you can see how the sunflowers are doing. I love a good visual update when I watch YouTube videos and it's like, we did this project, and then you never see it again and you're like, did it work? Like, can we see follow up? So we'll send you over to that. You see the update, and then get harvesting all of these sunflowers and all of our filler, and come meet me back here to make some bouquets for the flower stand. We just got off the airplane. We got home this evening and we ran out to the field to see what's going on, because we sell sunflowers almost exclusively in the fall. That's our plan. And we planted lots of them. And this is one of the reasons flower farmers don't go on vacation, because when you do that, flowers bloom out and they're wasted. So I was really nervous, but I wanted to give you a sunflower field update. And then I am going to, I've got my bucket and snips, and I'm going to see how many sunflowers I can harvest this evening and try to gauge whether or not I have enough stems to open our flower stand this Saturday, which is a couple days from now. These rows right here, we planted out as transplants because I had already started them from seed before we decided to do some direct sowing experiments. And so this is my transplant row. And of course, as things go, they were just about to open when we were leaving for vacation. So my other flower farming friend, about 45 minutes from here, came and she cut as many as she can, bought them from me wholesale, and then priced them for retail at her farmer's market. So they didn't all completely go to waste. And there's some here that I definitely can harvest from, but largely this row is like my transplant row that it's like kind of whatever. But let me show you what the direct seeded rows look like now. We did a video a couple weeks ago about how we were trying to move from starting sunflowers from seed to direct sowing them. Direct sowing is really hard in Oklahoma, so go watch that video if you're interested. But these two rows on either side of me are those direct sowed rows. We used a Jang seeder, and then we also did one row by hand. Big difference in timing, but they look wonderful. They're the right height. They're not quite ready to open. A couple of early birds here. They're probably going to explode open, I think, in about a week in our temperatures. But oh my goodness, they look awesome, and they were so much less labor. We borrowed our neighbor's Jang seeder for those two rows I showed you. So these two rows were direct sowed by hand, which is obviously a lot slower than using a proper seeder, but still infinitely faster than taking care of seedlings for 2 weeks like I was doing before in trays. And they look awesome too. We have them succession planted so that they're all not 1,000 blooming at one time. So the 2 rows I just showed you hopefully will be this Saturday and next Saturday. And then after that, I have 2 more mega rows to get me through the end of September. And then I'm guessing early October, our season's gonna be over, and that's just what it is. And maybe next year, if we have the energy, we'll try to go all the way through October until frost. So as you saw, the sunflowers look great. We've been harvesting like crazy over the last 5 days. We have our fridge in our flower cottage here where we process everything, but I actually had so many sunflowers, I had to use our spare fridge in the garage for overflow because everything was like, in those 2 rows were like, I'm ready to go now. So I needed some overflow space to get us here until Saturday morning to make the bouquets. We sell $20 wrapped bouquets. We wrap them in craft paper. $20. We made the conscious decision in the fall to primarily focus on sunflowers along with a little bit of filler. The filler I have to work with today is celosia and basil, but everyone's largely coming for the sunflowers. So I think my recipe for my formula, my recipe for the bouquets today is going to be 6 sunflowers, 3 celosia, and 1 basil. Typically, I'd prefer to do 2 basil, 2 celosia, but basil was not, I didn't have as many basil as I had hoped for, and I have a lot of celosia. So we're gonna do 3 and 1 for filler. That's 10 stems, $20. It's gonna be a nice full bouquet. Our sunflowers last a really long time. I think a lot of my customers from last Saturday still have bouquets that look really good, which is, isn't that kind of like a pro and con? You want your customers to be super happy with how long their bouquet lasts, but then when you have your new sales day, you're like, oh, maybe you won't come because your flowers still look beautiful. So you're like, darn. It's like, I want my bouquets to last like 6 days. They die on Friday. You come back on Saturday to buy more. So we'll see how many of the regulars come back. But it's nice to hear that our bouquets are lasting a nice long time, which means the customers are gonna see the $20 value in what they paid for it, for sure. We did a video a couple weeks ago on how I make our market bouquets. I really broke down the steps. I explained to you what you're about to see here, kind of like sped up in movie magic, of how I make bouquets really quickly. When I made that video, I was making 20, 25 bouquets an hour. Since then, I've gotten even faster, which just happens with familiarity. Your hands get used to things. You just get faster and more efficient. I'm closer to like 30 bouquets an hour now, which is really nice if I'm really focused. If I'm kind of like Roombaing around the room and like thinking about other things and whatever, it slows down a little bit. So 25 would be great because I am hoping for 30 bouquets minimum. If I can do more than 30 for the stand today, I would really be happy. Last Saturday, we had the stand open after being closed all of August, which was a little nerve-wracking because you think, I haven't sold anything in a month. Are people gonna come back? They came back, sold out, sold 27 bouquets in 2 hours. It was fantastic. So my customers have not forgotten about us. And so I'm thinking, hoping they'll come back today. The colors are a little bit different. I have some different colored celosia to go with the yellow sunflowers. I think will really pop. It'll be a bit different from the bouquets they got last time. But my customers here in rural Oklahoma love sunflowers. Like they can't get enough sunflowers. So I think it's going to be a really big hit. But I have to get going. I've got, let me see here. Got my coffee. I left at 5 a.m. this morning and I went and got myself a coffee treat. I got donuts for the kids because typically on Saturday morning, they wake up and I'm out here working. And so I got some donuts to surprise them. They can have their breakfast before they all come find me asking about what's going on for the day. But I need to get working and see if I can get these 30 bouquets made in barely an hour. So I'm gonna set the camera up. I'm gonna try to show you some different angles. But again, if you wanna see like an actual detailed narrated breakdown of our process, I'll link that video in the description below. I think it's really helpful. I think it's helpful to show my process for efficiency, which you can think through your own process if you're a flower farmer and see maybe ways you can speed up. If you're not a flower farmer, then I hope you just enjoy seeing how bouquets are made if you buy local flowers in your area. But here we go. bouquets are made. I looked at my clock of when I started and then here when I finished to see how long it took me to make the bouquets. I could have gone a little faster because obviously I was filming some, so I was having to move the cameras around and stuff, which slowed me down a bit. But I made 45. I made 45 in an hour and 40 minutes. So I don't know how to do the math, but pretty fast. I'm happy with it. My daughter joined me at the end. She sets her alarm and she comes in around 7:30 and helps me with the end. But 45 bouquets is way more than I thought. That's one of my goals for next year, is to improve my counting process when I harvest in the field. Because some of the farms, the much bigger farms that have employees and stuff, I know that they're bundling in the field and they're counting constantly what they're harvesting. So they know what's in their cooler. They know what they've harvested. They can make better projections of what they can make, how many bouquets. I'm doing it based on like a subjective feel of like 5 buckets generally makes this many bouquets. And I said here on the video a minute ago, I was hoping for 30. I had 45. So that was like a big subjective guess error on my part. So in the future, next year is a goal. I'm gonna get better at counting. So I can say like, I have 300 sunflowers in the cooler, so I know I can make X amount. And then it just makes it easier to understand what your earning potential is, what your sales options are for a Saturday and all of that. But the flowers are made. I need to go track down farmer husband, get his tractor, because that's how we move the bouquets, and start getting the stand set up. We open at 9 a.m. So I'm gonna go track down husband, Eric, get the tractor, get everything loaded and start setting up, and I hope people are gonna show up today because 45 is a lot of bouquets. Got 10 minutes until 9 a.m. We're working on getting the lemonade stand set up for the kids, and people are already here, lined up. Ah! Hoping to film our setup before we open, but we already had a line, so we had to open and get going, but we kind of have a lull now, 20 minutes later. We sold about 15 in the first 20 minutes. And one thing I didn't mention is on Labor Day weekend, my friend from Albuquerque drives like 150 pounds of prickly pears here, and we spend the weekend making prickly pear syrup and jelly and pancake syrup and all of that, and we sell it from our roadside stand because it's so special and so delicious. So that's what we're doing this weekend. Wave, kids. And the older kids offer free samples with lemonade because most people have never had prickly pear syrup. So they have really fun doing that. And we sell our jars. We've already sold like 20. So it's really good. It's a good like add-on that's a limited amount because we're only going to have it probably for a couple Saturdays. And we have the flowers and I have another car coming. So bye. Sold probably another 5 in the last 15 minutes or so. I try to keep our buckets always really full. What I've heard is like full and forward, full and forward. So I try not to leave a bucket that has just like one bouquet in it by itself. I try to squeeze it in another so it looks really full. But I keep consolidating. So I'm already emptied 2 buckets here that are done. We're down to 5 buckets. I don't have an exact count, but we've sold a lot so far, which is doing great. The kids are doing great. With their prickly samples, selling a bunch of the jars. It's great. I don't always want to have like extras in this stand, but the prickly pear is definitely bringing people out because it's so unique and different, especially in our area. There's not a lot of prickly pear cactus like there is where I'm from in Arizona. So it's really unique and people are coming out and they're buying prickly pear, then they're also just grabbing some flowers or they're here to grab flowers and then they're really intrigued by the prickly pear and they buy the prickly pear. So it's going really well. There's a chance it's sellout. It's only 9:45. It's been 45 minutes and we're selling a lot. So I'm hoping maybe there's even a chance we sell out in a couple hours, but I'll keep you updated. Another break in the traffic. It is 10:30, so it's been 90 minutes and we sold 31. I just did a count. We have 14 left. Made 45, so we have 41. No, that math doesn't make sense. We've sold 31. Yeah, we've sold 31. Jars are doing great. It is bringing a lot of people. Last week I said we sold 27 and now we're at 31, so we beat that and I have more available. I'm continuing to hope that we completely sell out here in the next hour so that I can go help Eric with the field work.
I can't believe it. We're already hitting the end of the season. Feels like just, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago that I put all these things in the ground when we were getting storm after storm in July and the zinnias were getting flattened and blown sideways. We had different problems last year with things getting blown sideways. This year it was rain pushing them down. So we got to figure out our staking game next year, but I can't believe I'm pulling all these out. My wife's getting to do the fun work now. She did all the hard work earlier this morning, and now she's up at the stand selling a million bouquets for us, making this work worth it. So I guess I'll get back to work here, getting this thing broken down. We got to figure out how to deal with zinnias. I'm gonna try to mow them. See if we can mow them.
So we are closing down. We have 4 bouquets left. So we sold 41 bouquets in 2.5 hours, which is awesome. I could stay open longer and probably like over the course of the next hour, the 4 bouquets would sell, but it's not really worth my time to sit here for the 4 remaining bouquets than it would be to go get changed and help Eric in the field because the weather is beautiful today. We finally have a break in temperatures and it's cloudy. So we have a lot of field work we need to get done all afternoon. So I think it's more valuable for me to get working and helping him instead of here with the flowers. But 41 bouquets in 2.5 hours is, I love it. Our flower stand is doing so well.
So it looks like we've got a stick on it.
Yeah, next year is going to be
Cedar.
Mega Celosia, Mega Sunflowers for the fall. That's going to be our go-to. People are loving it. It's just fall colors, fall feel with sunflowers, and so that's what people want.
All right, awesome.
And I'm sick of zinnias, so.
Well, the zinnias are sick.
The zinnias are sick, and I am sick of them. Goodbye.
Yeah. I gotta cut them down. I mean, I can't squat. It's really hard to frame both of us in the same shot.
He's too, and I'm even on an incline.
That's why.